Alright, welcome to the Vidulant Podcast. Get vigilant and completely automate your content marketing. Free training, conversion, marketer certification at vidulant.com, VIDULANT, /training. So, check it out, get certified. It is the way to go. What we pretty much do is take the marketing technology stack out of the picture, give every client a perfect one, and then use our algorithm, our smart RFP process to fill that marketing technology stack operated on your behalf, and fill it with content that we can prove to you is the content, your custom content that is pre-validated for your market. And then at the end of the process, you get validated and pre-qualified sales leads. So take that whole content marketing mess, ABM, marketing automation, social media marketing, video production, all of it, and let Vidulant do it for you. So, what is going on today? Front page of the Wall Street Journal. Amazon's pitch to woo shoppers, fewer fees than FedEx, UPS. How do you do it, Bezos? How do you get that free shipping? It's incredible that in Professor Galloway's book, The Four, he talks about the four horsemen of the apocalypse is kind of the undertone and even overtone in certain parts of the book, but how Amazon has this immense scale access to cheap capital and a very entrepreneurial spirit where they're willing to make bets and cut their losses quickly, and they expand into these adjacent markets, and there's just no one like Jeff Bezos and the Amazon machine, and how last mile infrastructure is incredibly expensive but incredibly addictive for consumers. So the moat is just incredible. Liberals outpaced conservatives in dark money midterm spending. Boy, liberals are pissed at Trump. They are getting into that dark money, that dark arts, son. As Theo Vaughn would say. Assets in lockstep stoke volatility fears. It's a pretty fucking volatile time right now. And I think if you're in business and you don't have an ironclad customer acquisition strategy, you are going to really feel it by 2020, 2021. So I would get your shit together. Global boom barely begun, may be over. A year ago, the world looked like it would finally return to the bottom boom times it enjoyed before the global financial crisis. Now the boom may be over before it even started. It might be. The U.S. market might be hitting its peak, as some people think, which isn't bad. We can stay at a steady state and get involved in other emerging markets. Procter & Gamble raises outlook after another quarter of strong sales. Godspeed. With their Gillette ad, how does everyone feel about that? You know, I thought stopping two boys from clearly play wrestling, as you know these child actors were doing, they weren't fighting, and so the kids looked like they were actually having fun wrestling in a controlled situation in this ad, this Gillette ad that's against toxic masculinity. You know, there's someone else who said it. When brands start advertising these higher ideals, you know you've reached a new place in your culture, perhaps a bad place, where we shouldn't be deriving our values from these brands. Now, my new economy model dictates or predicts that as more people join, as the majority of the world, it will be middle class by 2020, there will be more inclination for brands that, well, as people join the middle class, they start saving money. They stop freaking out about next month's rent or mortgage. And then once you do that, I think the human experience is the same for everybody. You start thinking about, why am I here? What's my purpose? What can I do to be fulfilled. I want to be happier. Okay, I have my base needs met. The one thing I can increase tremendously for most people is my happiness. And if I'm not happy, I'm miserable. So I have more imperative, there's a greater imperative to become happy. And so you start seeing the reality of Maslow's hierarchy of needs with self-actualization on the top. And I think those brands that assist people in their middle class journey towards even understanding their place in the world, let alone participating in it or taking it, they're going to skyrocket, as seen by Whole Foods, Airbnb, Tom's, the difference between Lyft and Uber. As far as public perception goes, Facebook before and after the many crises, and so on. So if you widen your definition of shareholders to include the communities in which your customers and employees live, more importantly customers, I think, then you, by definition, are building the new economy, which is about self-actualizing through commerce. And companies that do that are going to just skyrocket, and companies that don't, they're not going to grow, and they're going to be overtaken by companies that do. Because think about it, whose car would you rather buy, right? Price being equal. Some company who, well, anybody but Elon Musk. There's a story there. You feel like you're part of saving the world. You think you are part of the solution versus part of the problem, right? And me personally, this is a place where PR agents live, because I look at a Tesla and I'm like, dude, how many rare earth metals, how many pounds, how many tons of rare earth metals did this thing require to produce in its battery? They call them rare earth metals for a reason. How much water did that create? How much carcinogenic vapor did that create? It's not exactly obvious to me that a Tesla is better for the environment when you calculate more than just carbon emissions. Really, that's all if that's all your metric is, then maybe so. But my point being, though, that every company that has massive multiples has this story underneath their earnings, in which they're going to be a transformative force in the world, pushing the arc of history towards one of nobility and human dignity and all these great things that companies like WeWork, which is like many times more valuable than Regis with half as many seats, and companies like Tesla, which is many times more valuable, but a fraction of the cars sold as Ford. So investors want this story because at the core, we want to make the world a better place through the simple actions we take. And that story aligns with a future vision that's more utopian than dystopian. So it's a huge driver. And Amazon's been very neutral. They haven't taken a position. They're a really old economy with good technology, but they let people imagine them as maybe they let people imagine them as a new economy concept. I don't know. Let's see what's going on in business. Bum. Oh yeah, so the Gillette ad and Procter and Gamble, they want to be woke, man. They want to be part of the solution, and they think that there's too much toxic masculinity, and maybe there is. There's definitely some, right? But there's definitely more healthy masculinity in the world, and that I think is getting lost in the context of the Gillette ad. The Gillette ad isn't its own thing floating in the world. It's in a social context, a zeitgeist of the times, and conservatives are oversensitive to this focus on toxic masculinity and all of its, myriad effects, while liberals are trying to stamp this thing out. So they're just like laser focused on it. And so it triggered people, which I guess you can do these days. But I thought, and I tweeted at the director of the commercial, all you had to do was show an example of healthy masculinity. I mean, far more Islamic people are peaceful than joined ISIS. Far more men are nonviolent than violent, and far more fathers are good than bad fathers. And what are you trying to do? You're trying to get the crowd that doesn't know who they are and wants to position themselves in life by who they hate, which is this like radical left that's emerged in America, or do you want the larger mass market that knows who they are based on what they do? They take care of their family. In a man's case, they protect their children. They make these sacrifices that like nobody really thinks about. The commutes every day and the endless kind of distractions at work while they have to still get their thing done. If they lead anyone at work, then they're often don't have the authority. They just are seen as a leader. Getting up and going to the gym just so you can think more clearly at work, and you're in a better mood just so you can keep your job, if not grow your earnings, right? The lawn care so you can maintain your house and your kids literally have a place to sleep in. I mean, these are the things that men like feel in their DNA that they don't talk about. You don't have to go to like these extreme examples. You could have, I tweeted a concept. Man, here's the Salesforce. What am I looking at? Okay, the front page of the Wall Street Journal Business is a banner, probably because, oh my god, probably because I'm in the industry, but regardless, Salesforce banner, find more recurring revenues, sell and bill on one platform with Salesforce. Get the yoke. Okay, that's a crap ad. Thank you very much. It's no context. What are you talking about? Recurring revenue for what? A shoe store or a B2B? Like, what are you talking about? Sell and bill on one platform with Salesforce. If you don't understand Salesforce, that makes no sense to you. Anyway, half of it is a boat, and I'm not kidding you, with a goat. A bear in a vest looking through a telescope, not telescope, but maybe one of those, binoculars. What looks like Einstein and a small boy in a bear costume, something that looks like an old school Mario costume, but a bear, if you can imagine that. You remember when Mario turned into like the raccoon or whatever? And by the way, the best Halloween costume I've ever worn my entire life. Godspeed, thank you, Mom. And then there's a sign in the water that says recurring revenue. They're like on the shoreline. Like, what are you doing? Who's getting paid to make this crap? What? It looks nice, but it makes 0 sense. Einstein, a bear, a boy in a bear costume, and a goat. Is there a cartoon I'm not aware of? Are you trying to get new customers? Because if so, this is the worst ad in the world. This only makes sense if you're deeply familiar with Salesforce, and then you're selling a new product, which is the whole thing. Sell. They sell. They're great at selling. They suck at marketing. What do you even do? Marketing is about communicating in such a way that someone takes action or considers you the next time they're going to take action. Selling is wedging out the person next to you when someone has decided they're going to take action. Ugh. I can't eat. Oh, man. Okay, let's see what we got here. Click on it. Of course. A terrible landing page. Oh my god. I can't even look at it. My landing page has got 28 to 25, 24% conversion rate. B2C, B2B, what have you. These, I can look at a landing page and see what needs to change to be optimized, for it to be optimized, because there's tons and tons of data points on what works in digital marketing now. You don't need to guess anything again. It's very hard to invent something new in digital marketing. And there's a known format for good landing page copy and formatting, design. This is only for someone who already wants it, who wants to learn more about Salesforce, not someone who's considering Salesforce over someone else. That's Salesforce's number one problem, in my eyes. No competition. There's no major competitor to Salesforce, so they've they've jumped the shark into this weird semi. It's so creepy. There's a little boy with a goat, and Einstein, and a bear. What is going on in this boat, Salesforce? Why is Einstein there and the goat? It makes no sense. The goat should at least, it should just be the boy and the bear. At least the boy's in a bear costume. He's living amongst the bears. There might be a story there. But then you have Einstein and then a goat of all animals. You gotta eat it? You drinking goat milk in your voyage? What? Someone got paid 6 figures, hundreds of thousands of dollars to come up with this. Oh my god, it's so bad. Woo. Boeing's autonomous taxi takes flight. Okay. Wall Street Journal, man. It's like a window into Elysium. What else is going on? Comcast lifted by media and broadband growth. Good job. Amazon's pitch to Woo shoppers. Fewer fees than FedEx, UPS. Good job. Condé Nast put all titles behind paywalls by year end. Good for you. If they wanted to crush their revenue growth, this is the problem, right? They are thinking of themselves, they're thinking of this, I can already tell, as a distribution model. That they have the content, they're going to then add digital as a way to distribute their own in-house branded, they're going to call it a platform, but it's not really a platform. What they should do, and I hope they do, let's see, magazine published to Condé Nast said it would put all its titles behind paywalls by the end of the year, a move that underscores how critical it's becoming for major publishers to generate revenue beyond advertising. So if they were smart, they would put one fee for everything, or put multi-tiered system, one magazine, 3 magazines, all magazines, right? $9, $19, $29, something like that, whatever. And they'd get a lot more people signed up. And then what they should do if they want to make the most money is put a free paywall outside of their premium paywall. So the free paywall might be, X articles a month. It might be every old article and only new articles will be on the paywall. You got to figure that out. But if you can, or just digital content like blog posts, and to access the free paywall, all you need to do is submit your email address. What you want to always do is put your widest gate, your widest circle around your brand, your biggest, ultimately the boundary of your brand, to me, is your free paywall. Is everyone on the outside sees generic, free, unorganized content. Everyone on the inside experiences the brand, sees a curation process, understands kind of a vision of what the brand sees, and has more interactions with the brand, inside versus outside. It's like on the outside there's no dialogue, and inside it's a one-on-one dialogue, so to speak. And if you make a free paywall, you get the largest circle around your brand. Because you have the most people sign up. If you make the lowest paywall possible, meaning the lowest amount of forms, and for instance, in Salesforce's landing page, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 form fields. Like first name, last name. Really? Do we need your last name? We can't infer who you are by your job title, email, phone, and company. Good lord. Anyway, so if you just take their email address, you can build this huge email list, and then you can sell your core product, which in this case should be the subscriptions. And it should be a multi-tier sale. Because some people want it all, some people want one, and the one in the middle kind of helps to justify. There's different sales strategies, but you usually want a tiered system. Hulu raises prices of live TV service, cuts cost of basic plan. You know what's weird? I used to think like, who the hell is going to watch live TV anymore in 10 years? But it's not going away. And I think the reason is because it creates and fosters a sense of community. When you were a kid, when I was a kid, you'd see something on SNL or MTV, and you'd run, and everyone the next day would talk about it. My parents refused to get cable, so most of the conversations I wasn't privy to, nor could I stay late enough at a friend's house typically to watch it on a school night. So I missed out on a lot of those conversations, and it sucked. It sucked. But SNL, I almost watched it on purpose more because I could go talk to my friends about it. And what happens when you're on like Netflix or Amazon, you end up in your own world. It could be great. But then sometimes I found when I want to watch TV, but I don't want to watch anything on Netflix or Amazon, I want to watch something live. I want to watch something that someone else curated, that I don't have to think about what to watch and weigh the opportunity costs of watching this versus that, which is endless on Netflix. And by the way, prediction for Netflix, they're going to come out with a random button in channels for to randomize streams of content based on who you are, what you're feeling like. But a random button on Netflix would be incredible. You could just see the first, or maybe like a middle 30 seconds somewhere in the movie. Get a sense of what's going to happen. And Stumble Upon was huge because of that. But the idea too of other people watching this live thing with me is cool. And if I was more into sports, I would totally be on Twitter while I was watching sports, kind of be in the chat room, having a conversation that I would otherwise have at a bar, watching a live sporting event. I love watching UFC fights for that reason, because there's a community around it and I get to participate. And it's not that it's an exclusive community. That has nothing to do with it. More so that it's a specific community about a thing that I actually am interested in. So Hulu, I don't think it's going anywhere. Some people are like, it's all done. And streaming is the only way it's going to go, but I don't think so. Pluto TV just got bought by $300 or $400 million by a media company. Good for them. Let's see, how companies secretly boost their Glassdoor ratings. I think company culture is going to become the next multi-trillion-dollar industry. It's the only thing that separates typically a startup, sexy startup, versus a suffocating corporate brand. Last summer, employees of Guaranteed Rate Inc. posted a stream of negative reviews about a mortgage broker on Glassdoor, company ratings website. An American sweatshop read one-star review in June. Worst company I have ever worked for, read another in July. The company's ratings on Glassdoor, which is determined by employee feedback, fell to 2.6 stars out of 5. Concerned that negative reviews could hurt recruiting, Guaranteed Rate CEO Victor Ciardelli instructed his team to enlist employees likely to post positive reviews, said a person familiar with his instructions. In September and October, these employees flooded Glassdoor with hundreds of 5-star ratings. The company's ratings now sits at 4.1. Oh, gross, dude. And company culture affects recruiting, it affects productivity, product market fit, ultimately, revenue growth, everything. But it all comes down to the founders, the initial conditions, I think. If you found a company improperly, CMO Today, what's that? So this is kind of their B2B play here. Ad tech in-housing company Beeswax raises $15 million. Oh, I'm so jealous. Let's see, Beeswax IO Corp, an ad tech firm that helps marketers build their own in-house digital ad buying capabilities, said it raised $15 million in a new funding round. Hey, for sure, go fuck yourself, huh? I get so defensive. The New York-based company offers what it calls Bidder as a Service platform, a cloud-based system that lets marketers programmatically bid on digital ads and customize the technology to their needs. Here's an interesting thing. So this is going to die, and they're going to pivot out of this. I guarantee it. It's just a way to get into the market. But it's what people want right now. And I have a hard time giving people what I don't believe they need, even if they want it. I can't get excited about that. So I don't do it. Pricing darts at 10 grand per month and rises as clients use more capacity. Beeswax has around 75 customers from industries such as consumer goods, business-to-business services, and media. Clients include Amazon.com Inc., streaming platform Twitch, location data company Foursquare, and Vivenda's Daily Motion. So it's kind of upper crust at 10K a month. It's kind of crazy. But programmatic, let's zero use of the word fraud. Nothing. Ad fraud, nothing. So, I don't know how they're dealing with that, if they're even discussing it. Clearly their entire business model revolves around programmatic bidding. Maybe they're the ones that figure it out. I hope they do. Good for you guys. Blackshire edges closer to finally launching nearly 1 year after an introductory Super Bowl ad. Yeah, that's typical corporate things to, and it doesn't take the steps to do it. Consumers say brands shouldn't bring politics to the Super Bowl. 2/3 of consumers call the Super Bowl an inappropriate place for advertisers to make political statements, according to a poll conducted by Morning Consult for CM.